So, why do people get defensive? It's something we've all seen and probably all felt. Let's dive into what's really going on.
Okay, think about this for a second. Have you ever tried to give someone a bit of feedback, maybe with the best intentions, and they just snap or completely shut down on you?
And let's be honest, we've probably all been on the other side too. You know that feeling, right? The moment someone points out a mistake you've made and you just feel this wall go up inside you.
Now, it's so easy to just write that off as, oh, they've got a big ego or they just can't take criticism.
But actually, it's not really about that at all. The real reason is much deeper. It's biology. It's a survival mechanism that's literally hardwired into our brains.
Okay, so quick question to see if we're on the same page. Is a defensive reaction a sign of a character flaw? What do you think? The answer is no. It's a completely natural biological response.
So, to wrap up this first part, the big takeaway is this. Defensive reactions are super common. It's not about ego, it's a hardwired biological response. Simple as that.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What is actually happening inside our brains in that moment? Let's look at how our ancient wiring works in the modern world.
Okay, deep inside your brain, there's this little almond-shaped part called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's alarm system. It's constantly on the lookout for threats, and its main job is just survival.
And here's the really wild part. Your brain's alarm system, well, it isn't very sophisticated. It literally cannot tell the difference between a real physical threat, like a tiger, and an emotional threat, like a tense conversation with your boss.
So when that alarm goes off, your brain just kicks into one of three ancient survival modes. You might fight, which looks like arguing back, or you might take flight, just withdraw from the conversation, or sometimes you just freeze. You shut down and can't even think of what to say.
And in any of those moments, your rational, logical brain, it basically takes a backseat. It's not that you don't want to be reasonable, it's that your brain is temporarily switched off that ability. All right, another quick check-in. What's the name of that part of the brain we called the alarm system? Yep, you got it. It's the amygdala.
Okay, so let's quickly recap this part. The amygdala is our brain's alarm. It triggers that classic fight, flight, or freeze response, and when it does, our logical thinking gets pushed aside.
So, that's the problem. But what's the solution? How can we move from this defensive place to one of dialogue? Well, there's a really simple technique we can use.
The absolute key, the very first step, is just to notice it's happening. You have to recognize that trigger, whether it's in you or in someone else.
And once you see it, you can make a choice. Instead of reacting, you can follow these 4 steps. First, just pause. Then, take a breath. Consciously lower your tone of voice. And finally, ask a calm question. It could be something as simple as, "Can we look at this together?" That one little phrase changes everything. It says, "We're a team, not you versus me."
Or you could try something like, "What's your view on it?" This is brilliant because it invites them into a dialogue. It shows you actually care about their perspective.
And just like that, you shift the dynamic. You move the brain from a state of defense to a state of dialogue. You're creating safety, and that's when the logical brain can come back online.
Okay, last quiz for today. What is the main goal when you ask a calm, collaborative question? It's to shift the brain out of that defensive mode and into a productive dialogue. So let's pull it all together. The trick is to recognize the trigger, then pause, breathe, and lower your tone. And then you ask that calm, collaborative question. That's what turns a potential conflict into a real conversation.
It's so important to remember this. Difficult conversations aren't battles that you have to win. They're actually opportunities to understand each other better. So here's a small habit you can try. Before your next important conversation, just take one deep breath and quietly remind yourself, it's not an attack, it's a discussion. It's a tiny change, but it can make a world of difference.